The colony ship Artemis drifted silently through the outer reaches of the Perseus sector, its sleek hull gleaming faintly beneath the distant stars. Over 2,000 souls, scientists, families, pioneers, looked forward to building a new life on Epsilon Prime, a lush, untamed world barely touched by human hands. Captain Lena Morales stood on the bridge, eyes scanning the instruments, her voice calm over the intercom. Approaching Epsilon Prime orbit. All systems nominal. Prepare for orbital insertion in T-5 minutes. The crew nodded, tension light but excitement palpable. This was the future of humanity's expansion, a peaceful mission, nothing more. Yet far beyond the star-speckled void, shadows were stirring. The first sign was a flicker on the radar, a swift blip darting between sensor echoes. "Captain," called the tactical officer, Lieutenant Chen, "we have an unidentified vessel approaching fast from Vector 345. Lena's gaze sharpened. "Scan it. Transmit a hail." Static buzzed through the speakers. No response. "Could be pirates or—" "Zarnathi," whispered Chen, dread thick in his voice. The Zarnathi had a fearsome reputation. A species born of harsh worlds, hardened. By centuries of conflict, they were notorious for ruthless raids along human frontier colonies. Their swift, brutal strikes had left scars across multiple systems. Most believed the peace treaties would hold, but old grudges simmered beneath. The surface, battle stations. Lena's order cracked through the bridge as the blip accelerated, revealing sleek, jagged craft with menacing red glows. Zarnathi raiders. The Artemis shuddered as warning sirens blared. Alarms echoed through the corridors. Shields up. Weapons. "Hot!" barked Chen. But it was too late. The first salvo hit the Artemis with explosive force, ripping through outer hull plating. The ship rocked violently and screams echoed from below decks. Lena gritted her teeth, gripping the command console. "Return fire, target their engines," but the Zarnathi were merciless and precise. They launched multiple plasma strikes, tearing through critical systems, severing communications and crippling propulsion. In the chaos, a frantic voice broke through the static, an emergency broadcast from the colony's civilian transport. "The Horizon. Mayday, Mayday, under attack, multiple casualties, request immediate assistance." The message cut off abruptly. Lena's heart sank. The Horizon was packed with families and non-combatants, children, elderly, none prepared for war. "Damn it," she muttered, voice tight with frustration. "They've hit the colony ship. We can't hold them." On the bridge, screens flickered, with distress signals from the Horizon's last moments. The ship's hull breached. Panic spread through its corridors. The last transmission was a garbled scream. "Captain, we've got to retreat," Shen urged. "We're outmatched." Lena shook her head, eyes blazing. "No, we hold. We fight." But fate was cruel. Suddenly, the Horizon exploded in a brilliant fireball visible even through the Artemis's thick armor. The shockwave rocked, Lena's ship sending the bridge into chaos. "Casualties confirmed," the comm officer whispered, voice hollow. "Over 500 dead." Lena's jaw clenched. The loss was unimaginable. Across Earth, news of the attack spread like wildfire. Governments, military command, and civilians alike recoiled in horror. The Zarnathi had crossed a line. In the war room beneath the Pentagon, General Marcus Hayes slammed his fist on the table. They targeted innocent civilians, children, families. "This isn't a skirmish. It's a massacre. We can't just sit on our hands." Admiral Helena Rios, cool and calculated, responded, "We need a measured response. But make no mistake, we will respond, and we will be decisive." Elsewhere, across the Galactic Council chambers orbiting the core worlds, the news flickered across screens and datapads. The elder races exchanged glances. Humans reacting violently wasn't new, but the intensity and scale surprised many. Ambassador Velthra of the Avuari, smug and dismissive, smirked. Typical. Terran outrage, a flash fire that will burn out. But back on Earth, the mood was far from temperate. As the sun set behind the Washington skyline, the world held its breath. Orders went out to the Terran fleets patrolling nearby systems. In classified command centers, data streamed in, a calculated cold plan taking shape. The 5th Terran Fleet prepared not a diplomatic envoy, but a disproportionate demonstration of force. Meanwhile, in the void between stars, the first of the Terran strike ships slipped into position, silent, efficient, ready. Lena Morales watched the newsfeed one last time before her shift ended. The faces of the lost haunted her, a reminder of why Earth would never bow quietly. The galaxy might see humanity as brash newcomers, but they would soon learn the cost of crossing Earth's line, because when humanity reacted, ruthlessly without hesitation, the shockwaves echoed far beyond the stars. The Galactic Council's chamber was a vast amphitheater orbiting the core world of Virex Prime, a sphere of polished black stone and transparent walls that revealed swirling nebulae and distant stars. Representatives from dozens of species filled the tiered seats, their myriad forms a kaleidoscope of scales, feathers, and shimmering skin. At the center, the council speaker, a towering figure of crystalline limbs named Marak, banged his gavel, calling the session to order. Fellow delegates, recent events in the Perseus sector demand our urgent attention, Marak intoned, his voice reverberating through the chamber. The attack on the Terran colony ship Artemis by the Zarnathi, and the subsequent devastating response from Earth, have shocked many among us. Murmurs rippled through the assembly. The humans, still relative newcomers, less than 3 decades, in the council, had always been unpredictable. Now their silence was deafening. Ambassador Velthra of the Avuari, a lithe and angular species known for sharp wit and sharper claws, stood. His voice dripped with disdain. It is no surprise. Humans react with primal fury. The destruction of the Zarnathi outpost was excessive, if not barbaric. They threatened the balance we have painstakingly maintained. A chorus of nods and whispers followed. The Avuari were respected and feared, but some among the younger races bristled at their arrogance. From the shadows of the chamber, Ambassador Critnal of the Tharkai, a race of battle-hardened warriors clad in organic armor, spoke softly but firmly. Do not mistake fury for strategy. Humans' restraint is an enigma. They have yet to reveal their full strength. Eyes turned toward the Terran delegation, seated quietly and expressionless. Ambassador Elena Rajan sat with hands folded, gaze steady. She spoke for the first time, her voice calm but resolute. Earth does not seek war. Our response was deliberate, measured. We do not act in haste or passion, but in defense of our people. The chamber fell into a stunned hush. The Terran stance was a riddle, fierce in action, quiet in words. Outside the chamber, the sprawling cityscape of Virex Prime pulsed with activity. Newsfeeds and holoscreens broadcast fragments of reports. Terran fleets were seen repositioning. No grandiose displays or public announcements, just silent ships slipping through space. Back in Earth's orbit, Fleet Admiral Samuel Trent stood on the bridge of the flagship Resolute, watching the Galactic broadcasts. They expect us to beg, to plead for clemency, he muttered. They don't understand we are not like them. In Earth's war rooms, military commanders prepared plans that blended ruthlessness with precision. Every strike would be surgical, designed to incapacitate without unnecessary carnage. Their doctrine was clear: protect at all costs, punish without mercy. Meanwhile, back on Virex Prime, council delegates debated the nature of humanity's silence. Whispers filled the air. Are they calculating their next strike? Negotiating in the shadows? Or preparing for war? Among them, Ambassador Sitha of the Ralcor, a diplomatic but cautious species, warned, underestimating humans is dangerous. They are unlike any we have faced, capable of great compassion and equal cruelty. A young delegate from the Cyrix collective, eager and idealistic, pressed for action. We must send envoys, demand explanations. The galaxy cannot tolerate such unpredictability. But others disagreed. Provocation breeds war, countered Ambassador Hedron of the Zilthar. We must tread carefully. Let Earth speak on its own terms. Days stretched into tense weeks. No official communication from Earth came. The silence gnawed at the council like a shadow. Inside the Terran embassy, Ambassador Rajan prepared a message. Her eyes scanned the holographic script, weighing each word. It was not a threat, nor an apology, but a statement of intent. Outside, sensors detected unusual activity near the Zarnathi border. Small patrols moving with precision, avoiding detection. The Terran military was not idle. They were watching. Waiting. On Virex Prime, the Council's security monitors picked up encrypted signals emanating from Earth's fleets. Intelligence officers decrypted fragments, unsettling data about AI-controlled drones and advanced targeting systems. The reality settled in. Earth was not just defending itself. It was preparing for anything. In a clandestine meeting deep within the Council's underlevels, a coalition of species formed, whispers of a containment accord. Their goal was clear: restrict human expansion, prevent further destabilization. But, even as alliances shifted, some delegates found themselves oddly intrigued. What drove humanity's ruthless resolve? What secrets lay beneath their calm facade? As the session drew to a close, Ambassador Rajan rose once more. Let it be known, Earth seeks peace, but peace cannot be built on weakness. We will protect our own by any means necessary. Let that be our only message until we choose otherwise. The chamber erupted into a mix of applause and murmurs. Outside, the stars glittered cold and distant, and humanity's silence grew louder. The void was silent. Far from the bright core systems, beyond the watchful eyes of most galactic powers, the Terran Fifth Fleet slipped into position. Starships, sleek, angular, and painted with Earth's emblem, hovered like predators poised to strike. Fleet Admiral Samuel Trent stood on the bridge of the flagship Resolute, eyes fixed on the holographic display showing the Zarnathi outpost's coordinates. The planet, dark and scarred, had become a hive of Zarnathi military aggression, launching raids on human colonies and smuggling war materiel through the Perseus sector. We have our orders, Trent said softly. This is not a battle. It's a surgical strike. His voice carried the weight of command and the cold certainty of a man who knew the cost of hesitation. Admiral, weapon systems online. All fleets ready, reported Captain Lian Zhao, the Resolute's weapons officer. Trent nodded. Target the military installations only. No civilian casualties. This is a message, not a war. Outside, the fleet spread like a web across the planet's orbit. Drones and stealth fighters darted into attack positions, their engines whisper quiet in the vacuum. In a control room aboard a stealth cruiser, Lieutenant Meera Patel adjusted targeting feeds. Missiles locked on communications hubs, weapons depots, fleet hangars. Timing synchronized for simultaneous strikes. Good, Trent replied. Execute on my mark. His fingers hovered over the console. The countdown began. 3, 2, 1. They bow. Silence shattered. Missiles streaked from the fleet, slashing through the blackness toward the planet. They struck with pinpoint accuracy, each warhead obliterating key military structures in blinding flashes. Orbital bombardment followed, lasers and plasma beams carving trenches of molten rock, vaporizing bunkers, and crippling air defenses. Throughout the operation, the Terran command monitored damage in real time. Sensors scanned for any signs of civilian presence. None detected. On the planet's surface, the Zarnathi scrambled to respond. Their fighters launched from the shattered bases, weaving through the deadly fire, but they were outmatched. The Terran drones hunted them down, their AI piloting merciless and unerring. Within hours, the entire military complex lay in ruins. Communications blackout, flight capability destroyed. The Zarnathi outpost was effectively neutralized. On the Resolute's bridge, the mood was grim but resolute. This is the cost of aggression, Trent said. Let it serve as a warning. Meanwhile, back on Earth, the public watched the events unfold through encrypted news feeds. Images of the devastated planet shocked some, but there was no outcry. Instead, a somber understanding. In a secure broadcast to the Galactic Council, Earth's ambassador Elena Rajan finally broke the silence. "We did not choose this path lightly," she said, voice steady and clear. "Our people were attacked, innocent lives lost. Our response was proportionate, precise, and necessary." She paused. "We do not seek conquest. We seek security. The Zarnithi outpost was a threat. It has been eliminated." Across the council chambers, the reaction was a mix of shock and disbelief. Ambassador Velthra sneered, "This precision is annihilation. Humans have revealed their true nature, ruthless and unyielding." But others, quiet voices from less warlike species, began to question their own assumptions. In a private corridor, Ambassador Critnell of the Tharkai approached Rajan. "Your restraint is unexpected," he said quietly. "Many feared your kind would raise entire systems indiscriminately." Rajan met his gaze steadily. "We are not barbarians. We are protectors, but protectors who will not hesitate." Elsewhere, secret reports, circulated among council members, leaked intelligence on Earth's weapon systems, the AI coordination of their fleets, the speed and efficiency of their strikes. Some delegates grew uneasy. If Earth could execute such surgical devastation on a frontier outpost, what might they do if provoked on a larger scale? In the shadows, whispers of a new doctrine emerged among human commanders. Disproportionate demonstration. A policy where overwhelming force would be applied swiftly and surgically to neutralize threats before they could escalate. On the bridge of the Resolute, Admiral Trent allowed himself a brief moment of reflection. This is the future, he thought. A galaxy where mercy is optional and consequence is certain. But even as the fleet regrouped and prepared to return to patrol, the seeds of fear and respect had already been sown across the stars. Humanity had announced its arrival, not with diplomacy, but with glass and steel. The Galactic Council chamber buzzed with tension the morning after Earth's devastating strike. Delegates shuffled through holographic records, their faces etched with concern. The destruction of the Zarnathi outpost had shattered the fragile calm that had held the galaxy together for centuries. Ambassador Velthra paced in front of the assembly, his avuary eyes gleaming with a mixture of anger and fear. Humans have shattered every expectation. They wield power with a precision that borders on cruelty, and their silence since the strike is unsettling. What are they planning next? The chamber erupted with murmurs and fragmented agreements. Some feared a looming war, others worried about the implications for interstellar law and diplomacy. From the back row, Ambassador Sitha of the Ralcor raised her hand. "We must consider what this means for the balance of power. Earth's doctrine of ruthless protection upends centuries of negotiation and treaties. If they choose, humanity could become an unstoppable force." A ripple of apprehension swept through the delegates. In a dimly lit corner of the chamber, a secret meeting convened. Representatives of several influential species gathered around a floating table. The Tharkai warrior Critnell, Ralcor diplomat Scytha, and a shadowy figure known only as Valrix, a member of the enigmatic Etherians, a race rumored to possess advanced psionic technology. "We cannot allow Earth's actions to destabilize the galaxy," Critnell growled. "Their strike was surgical, but devastating. If they decide to expand aggressively, none of us will stand a chance." Valrix's voice was calm but chilling. "Their silence conceals far more than we realize. Earth's fleets are not idle, they are evolving. Our spies intercepted encrypted transmissions, protocols for advanced AI deployment, experimental weaponry, and strategic doctrines unlike any seen before." Scytha nodded. "We must present a united front, containment before it's too late." Meanwhile, on the distant frontier worlds, fear was already rippling through colonies. The survivors of the Zarnathi raids whispered of a new terror. The human fleet was not just retaliating, it was hunting. On the devastated Zarnathi homeworld, leaders struggled to rally their shattered forces. Desperation bred cruelty. In secret bunkers, they plotted covert operations to strike back, hoping to ignite a wider conflict that might expose Earth's vulnerabilities. Back in Earth's war rooms, military strategists analyzed these developments with cold efficiency. Every new threat was met with a response plan, every alliance monitored. General Marcus Hayes, pacing before a massive tactical map, spoke with grim certainty. Let them plot. Our doctrine will be our shield and sword. Preemptive strikes, surgical precision, and relentless defense. His second-in-command, Colonel Ana Ruiz, frowned. But the Council's growing uneasy. If they act to isolate us diplomatically, we'll face greater resistance. Hayes's eyes darkened. Then we ensure the galaxy knows what happens to those who threaten Earth. Amid the political chaos, Ambassador Elena Rajan remained a pillar of calm. She addressed the Council in a rare, unscheduled broadcast. Earth does not seek dominion, she declared. We seek peace through strength. Our actions are a warning to those who harm us, not a declaration of war. Her words were met with skepticism, but also a grudging respect. In quiet moments, Rajan met with reluctant allies, delegates intrigued by humanity's blunt honesty. Among them was Ambassador Thalnar of the Lysari, a species known for their empathy and wisdom. Your doctrine is unsettling, Thalnar admitted during a private meeting, but perhaps it is what the galaxy needs, a clear line drawn in the sand. Rajan's smile was faint but resolute. Perhaps. But that line will be ours to define. As the Council continued its fracturing debate, Earth's fleets maintained their vigil, silent guardians and lethal predators. Every star system was watched, every shadow probed. Across the galaxy, whispers of Earth's doctrine grew louder. Mercy is optional. Protection is absolute. The ripples of fear had become a tidal wave, and the galaxy would never be the same. In the labyrinthine corridors beneath the gleaming Galactic Council chamber, secrets moved faster than light. While the public debates raged in the grand amphitheater, a shadow war unfolded in whispers and stolen glances. Ambassador Elena Rajan sat alone in a private conference room, the ambient glow of distant stars casting flickering light across her features. The calm veneer she projected masked the storm brewing beneath. Earth's measured retaliation had unsettled allies and enemies alike, and not all within the Council welcomed humanity's growing shadow. Her comm unit buzzed softly. She accepted the call. Ambassador, the voice of Commander Vektal, a Tharkai intelligence officer, crackled through the speaker. We intercepted troubling communications. Someone is sabotaging efforts to stabilize relations. Rajan's eyes narrowed. Details? A covert network operating within. The Council itself is leaking strategic information to factions opposed to Earth's policies. We suspect it's a coordinated effort to undermine peace talks and provoke conflict. Rajan clenched her jaw. Find the source. Quietly. We cannot afford open hostilities. She ended the call, her mind racing. The political battlefield was as dangerous as any war zone. Meanwhile, in the shadowed recesses of the Council, Ambassador Velthra of the Avuari convened a secret assembly. Around him gathered discontented delegates, those who saw Earth's rise as a threat to their power and traditions. We cannot allow the Terrans to dictate terms, Velthra hissed, eyes gleaming with conviction. Their doctrine undermines the very foundations of galactic order. We must strike at their influence before it's too late. A whisper of agreement circled the group. Plans took shape. Not open war, but subtle sabotage. Disinformation campaigns intercepted shipments and engineered crises designed to isolate Earth diplomatically. But not all shared Velthra's zeal. Ambassador Sitha of the Ralkor, ever cautious, spoke softly but firmly. We risk igniting the very conflict we wish to avoid. If we provoke Earth without cause, we may awaken a storm none can weather. Velthra's gaze flickered. A storm is coming regardless. Better we control it than be consumed. Back on Earth, Ambassador Rajan met with Fleet Admiral Trent and General Hayes in a secure briefing room beneath the Capitol. The Council's internal divisions are growing dangerous, Trent warned. Sabotage could spark full-scale conflict. Before we're ready, Hayes nodded. Our intelligence confirms Velthra's faction is behind several recent attacks on supply convoys. They want to cripple our logistical networks. Rajan's expression hardened. We must expose them, but without provoking open hostility. The galaxy is watching. Our next moves will define Earth's place for decades. Their discussion was interrupted by a sharp alert. A surveillance feed showed a shadowy figure slipping through the Council's restricted archives, a figure wearing the insignia of a trusted diplomat. Rajan's voice was ice. A mole. The hunt began. Meanwhile, the mysterious Etherian Valrix worked behind the scenes, offering ambiguous counsel to multiple factions. Known for his psionic prowess and cryptic motives, he was a wild card. In a private chamber, Valrix communicated telepathically with a hidden network. Balance must be preserved, he intoned. Humanity's rise threatens old orders, but it also offers new paths. The shadows will decide the fate of the Council. As Earth's operatives closed in on the mole, unexpected alliances formed. Ambassador Thalnar of the Lissari, once a vocal supporter of peace, now hesitated. The darkness grows, he confided to Rajan in a hushed meeting. We must be vigilant, but also wary of the shadows we cast. Rajan nodded. Sometimes, to protect the light, we must walk through the darkness. The mole was finally unmasked, a high-ranking envoy from the Zilthar, a species known for political cunning and ruthless pragmatism. His motives were murky, tied to fear, ambition, and deep mistrust of human intentions. Earth's response was swift but measured. The envoy was quietly removed, and a diplomatic statement blamed rogue elements acting without Council sanction. But the message was clear. Earth would not be undermined. As tensions simmered, whispers of impending conflict echoed in every corner of the galaxy. In the grand halls of the Council, debates continued by day. In the shadows, battles for power raged by night, and humanity stood at the center, a relentless force shaping the future, one calculated move at a time. The galaxy held its breath. News of the mole's exposure rippled through the Council, shaking fragile alliances and igniting suspicion. Every delegate wondered, who else could be compromised? What secrets had been lost? Ambassador Elena Rajan stood before a panoramic viewport overlooking Earth's capital, the sprawling city of New Alexandria. Beneath the glittering skyline, preparations were underway for a summit, a bold move to reset galactic relations. The Council's fractures run deep. Rajan mused aloud to Fleet Admiral Samuel Trent, who stood beside her, his expression unreadable. We offer dialogue, but many see it as weakness. Trent's gaze hardened. Strength doesn't always roar, Ambassador. Sometimes it whispers before the strike. Behind them, military commanders coordinated fleet deployments. Earth's space defenses had never been tighter, not since the Zarnathi conflict. Sensors swept every parsec. Unmanned patrols flitted through asteroid belts, and experimental warships underwent final trials. General Marcus Hayes joined them, grim and focused. Our doctrine of ruthless protection is effective, but it breeds fear. The galaxy watches us like a volcano, waiting to see if we erupt. Rajan nodded. We must convince them that eruption is unnecessary, but if forced, Earth will be ready. The Urian upcoming summit promised hope and risk. Council delegates arrived on Earth's orbital station, a magnificent construct suspended above the planet's surface. It was a symbol of unity and a stage for power plays. Among the arrivals was Ambassador Velthra, his gaze icy but restrained, and Ambassador Scytha, whose measured demeanor masked growing anxiety. The first day's proceedings unfolded with cautious formality, statements emphasizing peace, cooperation, and mutual respect. But beneath the polished rhetoric, tensions simmered. Late into the night, Rajan convened a private meeting with her closest advisors. The Council fractures, but some factions want peace, she said. We must find common ground, or risk isolation. Trent frowned. But what if some use the summit to sabotage diplomacy? We can't underestimate their resolve. A sudden alert interrupted them. a security breach detected in the summit's communications hub. Quickly mobilizing, Earth's cyber defense teams traced the intrusion to an unknown source embedded within the station's infrastructure. "This is no ordinary hack," said Colonel Ana Ruiz, leading the countermeasures. "Someone wants to disrupt the summit and escalate tensions." Rajan's jaw tightened. "Then we must expose them before their plans unfold." As the summit resumed, whispers of sabotage spread among delegates. Trust eroded like sand slipping through fingers. In a tense private exchange, Ambassador Velthra confronted Rajan. "Your reach is invasive, Ambassador," he accused. "Humans claim to seek peace but spy on allies and enemies alike. How can we believe you?" Rajan's reply was calm but firm. "We protect our people, and if that protection unsettles you, perhaps it is because the galaxy has grown complacent." Velthra's eyes narrowed. "Complacency is not weakness." Across the station, secret agents worked to uncover the saboteur. Clues pointed toward a coalition of factions uneasy with humanity's rise, agents acting to destabilize the fragile peace. Meanwhile, on Earth, scientists and engineers raced to complete a new class of warship, the Sentinel class, designed to counter threats with unprecedented speed and firepower. General Hayes visited the construction yard, watching the gleaming hulls. "We prepare not for conquest, but for survival." Back at the summit, the final day arrived. Delegates gathered to draft a new galactic accord, one that would redefine boundaries, security protocols, and trade agreements. Rajan took the podium. "Earth's doctrine is clear. Protection is paramount. Peace is preferred, but defense is absolute. Let us build a future where no species fears annihilation, but all respect strength." Her words met with guarded applause. Some delegates nodded. Others remained stoic. As the summit closed, the galaxy seemed poised at a crossroads, teetering between uneasy peace and the threat of open conflict. Outside the station, Earth's fleet stood ready, silent, lethal, and watching. The gathering storm was no longer distant. It hovered just beyond the horizon, and when it broke, the galaxy would be forever changed. The fragile peace forged at the summit shattered like glass beneath the weight of suspicion and fear. Days after the Galactic Accord was signed, an explosion rocked the orbital station where delegates had gathered. Alarms blared, warning lights flashed, and chaos erupted in the once sterile corridors. The sabotage, long feared, had come to pass. Ambassador Elena Rajan was on the station's command deck when the blast struck, her sharp eyes scanning damage reports as emergency crews scrambled. The attack targeted the communications core, severing the station's link to distant council worlds. "Saboteurs," Rajan said grimly. "They want to ignite war." Fleet Admiral Trent activated the station's defense protocols. "Deploy security teams, lock down all exits, identify the source." Across the chamber, Ambassador Velthra's expression was unreadable, but whispers of blame spread like wildfire. The chaos was not limited to the station. Across multiple systems, attacks on Terran convoys and outposts intensified. Hit-and-run raids, sabotage, and coordinated strikes from factions determined to cripple Earth's influence. Back on the Resolute, Trent coordinated fleet movements. "Our enemies want a war of attrition. We respond with overwhelming force." General Hayes authorized rapid deployment of the Sentinel-class warships, newly commissioned and armed with cutting-edge weaponry. "This is no longer diplomacy," Hayes said to his commanders. "It's survival." Meanwhile, within the Council, divisions deepened. Some species called for sanctions against Earth, accusing them of provocation. Others urged restraint, fearing a spiral into galactic war. Ambassador Sitha's voice rose in the assembly. "The Terrans act from strength, but fear blinds us all. If we fracture now, none of us will survive the fire." But the fractures were too deep. Alliance after alliance splintered under the pressure. In the midst of turmoil, Ambassador Rajan received intelligence of a planned assassination attempt against her during a covert meeting with neutral delegates. She refused to be cowed. We face enemies within and without, she declared, but Earth stands firm. We will not falter. The assassination attempt was thwarted by Earth's security detail, but the message was clear. Shadows moved in every corner. Amid the escalating conflict, a new player emerged, an underground coalition calling themselves the Veil, composed of radicals from various species united by distrust of all major powers. The Veil orchestrated attacks designed to destabilize the entire council, hoping to exploit the chaos for their own ends. Facing threats on all fronts, Earth's leaders intensified their strategy. Relentless defense combined with targeted strikes against Veil strongholds and hostile factions. One pivotal battle unfolded near the asteroid belt of the Charon system. The Resolute led a flotilla against a Veil fleet attempting to blockade a critical Terran supply route. The engagement was brutal and swift. Human pilots trained for ruthless efficiency struck with surgical precision. Drones swarmed the enemy, overwhelming them with coordinated AI tactics. As enemy ships exploded in fiery bursts, Admiral Trent watched from the bridge. "Discipline and technology win wars," he muttered. "But it's the human will that turns the tide." The victory at Charon became a rallying point, proof that Earth's ruthless doctrine could defend not just itself, but allies caught in the crossfire. Yet the cost was high. Casualties mounted, trust evaporated, and the Council's dream of unity lay in ruins. Amid the ashes of conflict, a new question lingered. Could the galaxy survive humanity's ruthless reaction, or would it be consumed in fire? As the flames of war threatened to engulf every star system, one certainty remained: Earth would not back down. Because in the darkness of space, ruthlessness was the most powerful weapon of all. The war had scarred the stars. Planets bore the marks of conflict, cratered surfaces, shattered cities, fractured alliances. Yet amid the ruin, a new order was rising. The Galactic Council, battered but unbroken, convened once more. This time, the chamber was quieter, weighed down by the memories of bloodshed and loss. Ambassador Elena Rajan stood at the podium, her voice steady and resolute. "The fires of war have tested us all. Earth's ruthless reaction was born of necessity, a shield forged in the crucible of survival. But now, it is time to build, not burn." Her words echoed through the chamber, stirring a tentative hope. Fleet. Admiral Samuel Trent, watching from the sidelines, knew this was only the beginning. The galaxy would never forget the price paid, nor would it forget Earth's emergence as a formidable power, unyielding and precise. The Council ratified a new Galactic Accord, one that recognized Earth's sovereignty and its right to defend itself fiercely. It established clearer protocols for conflict resolution and security cooperation, fragile but vital. Yet the uneasy peace was guarded by Earth's presence across the stars. Fleets patrolling borders, advanced surveillance, and rapid response. Teams ready to extinguish threats before they could grow. General Marcus Hayes summarized it simply: "The galaxy has changed. We've demonstrated that weakness invites destruction. Strength demands respect." Even Ambassador Velthra, once a vocal critic, now spoke with cautious admiration. "The humans have altered the balance. Whether for good or ill remains to be seen. But we must adapt." On Earth, the people reflected on the turbulent years. Memories of loss mingled with pride. The ruthless doctrine had been harsh, but it had preserved their world and secured their place among the stars. Scientists continued to innovate, blending human ingenuity with alien technologies recovered during the conflicts. The Sentinel class. Warships became symbols of deterrence and hope, and in the dark reaches of space, new colonies flourished, protected by Earth's vigilant watch. Still, the shadows lingered. The veil had been weakened but not destroyed. Other threats waited patiently. In the depths, Ambassador Rajan understood that vigilance was eternal. "We stand at the dawn of a new era," she said in a private address to Earth's leadership. "One where mercy and ruthlessness walk hand in hand, where the galaxy learns that Earth's protection is a promise and a warning." Fleet Admiral Trent looked out at the stars, the infinite expanse both daunting and inspiring. We've carved a place for humanity, he said quietly. Now we must defend it. Always. As the galaxy turned a new page, one truth remained undeniable. Earth's ruthless reaction had sent shockwaves not only through the Galactic Council, but through the very fabric of interstellar civilization. A new dawn had risen, unyielding, vigilant, and forever watchful,